Hi guys, it's been a while, but I'm back with another color process video, and this time it's of Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy. As usual, if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that I always like to start with the face and skin tones. And this time, Gamora's got this green skin going on, so I've got three greens that I'm working with that were posted just a second ago. Starting with the lightest shade first, which is G21 this time, and I'm just filling in all of the area. There are marker lines when I do this, but at this point I don't really worry about any lines that there might be because I know I'm going to be going over it with both the darker shades, and then again I blend everything over again with the lightest shade at the end. So here's the second shade, which is G24. And I'm just going in and adding shadows to her face. Face is always the most important part I spend the longest time on. Just adding details to the nose, the cheekbones, and under her chin, on her neck. And the arm. And her clothes are kind of unusual because they've got this mesh thing going on in the middle and on the side there. So for now I'm coloring it green, but later I'll add gray over top of that will indicate that there's mesh there. Now I've got a YG17, which is for my darkest skin shade here, and I'm going in and adding, another depth to where I just added the shadow previously. I go around all the edges and just deepen things. And then I've got my lightest shade again, and I'm just blending in those edges and getting rid of any marker lines that might stand out or look sloppy. So now I'm going to do her lips and her eyes, which are both green, but I'm using darker greens this time. I've got G14 for the lightest shade of the eyes, and then G17 to darken it a bit, and G29 is the darkest shade there. And I use G17 and G29 for the lips. Now that that's done with, I'm going to move on to the hair. And Gamora's got awesome hair. This is my favorite part. At least in the movie, she's got the black on top, and then it kind of fades into purple and bright pink on the end, which I love. So I'm starting with the dark purple. I'm going to save the black for last because that's tricky. So I'm cutting in with the BV07, I think that is. And then adding a violet, a lighter violet shade to it, which is V07. And my hot pink there, which is RV19. And then on the very ends, I do a RV17, but I could have gone even lighter for just to make it pop a little more. Then I go back over with the violet to kind of blend things and add a little depth and shadow. And again with the blue violet shade. And lastly, I'm going to use black on the top here. When you use black like this, you lose your pen lines, and in the hair, having those lines in the hair is important. So I'm trying to be careful not to get rid of those completely and to leave some of them showing. And I've left some shine there on top too. The shine is a little bit much, so I'm going to come back with a cool gray shade, and just kind of blend that in a little bit there. And now for her clothes, which are unusual to say the least. They're dark. It's like a dark leather. So that's black and dark gray is always really hard because if you don't do it right, it just looks too flat. So it's, you want to make sure you don't get carried away with the solid black parts, or else it just looks like too much black. So I'm doing the edging in black, and the really darkest part of the shadows on the far edges is black. And coming in with C6 for the rest of the sides. And then those two middle parts kind of are almost blue in the highlights, so I'm starting with a really light shade of aqua blue. And I'm just going to leave like a thin line of that as I fade out with darker blues there. The aqua blue is, I think, B04, and then I've got B37 for this mid shade, and the darkest shade is B99 there. And then I'm going to come back with the C8 and fill in all the gaps and blend it all in. And I'm also going to fill in that mesh part that I talked about earlier. There I'm blending with the lightest blue. Here we go with the mesh. I'm coloring over the parts that are supposed to be mesh with the C4, and I come back with the C6. And I felt like the gray was kind of wiping out the green of her skin tones underneath, so I went over it with green again, and then came in with C8 over top. I'm deepening the shadows here with this C8. And then coming back with my black one last time. Again, keeping that black to just the darkest areas. Trying to keep the shades in there so that you can tell, you know, where the shadows are and where the light hits. So I'm going to be done with the clothes, and this is just adding the shadow that's under her lashes there. And coloring those metal pieces that she has around her neckline. And now I'm going to come back with that bright blue, B04, and do the background. I like leaving a white line around my characters just to kind of make them pop from the background. I just fill the background all in with a light shade. And I like to add shadows around the edges and corners just to kind of add a little depth, and I'll do that in a little bit. I just want to thank all of you who have subscribed to my channel, especially since I haven't really posted anything new in probably over a year. I've lost my workspace. We've been rearranging things at my house and kind of trying to redo some rooms and stuff, and so I don't have a permanent art desk right now, which is making me crazy. And this I'm actually doing out on my porch. We've had really nice weather, and I have a nice screened-in porch, so I've got some nice natural lighting going on. So as long as it stays nice out, not too cold, I can do that for a while, but I'll have to figure out something else, another situation when it gets cold out. But to all of you who bugged me and sent me messages and comments saying, when are you going to post more videos? Thanks for doing that, because that's an encouragement. It's nice to know that there are people out there who are interested and enjoy this kind of thing. So I definitely like making these videos and working with my markers. And if you have things you'd like to see me do, or specific parts of my process that you'd like more details on, I'd love feedback, and I'm open to suggestions for future videos. Oh, my favorite part, I'm adding details with my white gel pen and my battery cut out there. So now we're finished. There's the finished piece. Thanks so much for tuning in, and hopefully I'll do another one of these soon. See you next time.